Hello, so welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, but today we are going to do a tiny home. I've never done one before, so this is kind of my first, I guess, try into it. Actually, that's a lie. I've tried before and then it turned out so bad, so I didn't publish it ever, but this one actually turned out pretty cool. And yeah, so this is basically what I'm going for. It's called, what did I call it? Tiny like chalet or something. So why it's called chalet, this is like, I guess maybe a whole story, because I looked up what chalet actually means. I guess it's like a cabin, like a mountain cabin. Something, they say something about like overhanging eaves. I guess that's like the term that it's used for, but I always thought chalet was like the term for this kind of build where the roofs literally go all the way down to the floor. Turns out that's not the case, so I am wrong in that sense. The reason why is because I remember I was making like gingerbread houses like with me and my sister, and then we got this whole set of like 3 gingerbread houses, and one of them was called Chalet, and it looked kind of similar to this where the roofs go all the way down. And yeah, so that's why I always kind of, I guess, associated chalet with buildings that look like this. So I'm calling it like that, and you know, I guess it kind of is considered a chalet. So the sort of theme I'm going for here is kind of modern, kind of rustic. I don't remember, I wasn't looking at the screen, so I didn't see it, but I think it took me a while to figure out the kind of wallpaper to use. I ended up using this, I guess, wooden paneling, vertical wooden paneling, and I liked it because it was a little bit rustic. It's a little bit darker on the outside as well, but then I used, well, that door initially was just there for, I don't know, just because it was a single door and it fit in the middle, so I put it there. But then I actually liked it. It took me forever to find windows. I could have cut all this out, but I love seeing me struggle with figuring out the dumb like windows. It took me forever, but finally I just got the matching windows to the doors, and then I used that. And then I'm not really sure what that thing is called, but I put some things on the wall, and then I put plants above it. I sized up the plants, and I love the way like the plants kind of cascade over and like hang down, because I didn't want it to look super manicured or super neat. I really wanted it to be a little bit overgrown, and I liked that rustic feel. I don't think I've ever done really a rustic build. I'm not even sure if you would call this rustic, but I thought it was kind of cool because it's very dark on the outside. You know, you have the dark walls, the kind of wraparound porch, I guess, as well as the, I don't know, oldish kind of roof siding, I guess it's called. And then I put those, I don't think I've ever really used that much of the roof accessories, but I did on this build, which is kind of cool. I put I'm so bad with architectural terms, but I don't know what they're called. I put like little roof decals all over. And the problem with this though is that like the roofs that go all the way down, it's really hard to furnish underneath them. Like I didn't know what to put there. I eventually put like just random plants around. So I really wanted the home to sort of blend into the environment a little bit more. For this lot, usually I just pick a random lot to put a house on, but I really liked the lot that I chose for this one because there actually is no like direct road access, which is really nice. It kind of seems a little bit secluded, a little bit more outdoor, I guess outdoor friendly maybe. So I eventually go back to the landscaping at the end. And then this is the sort of interior. This is not what it turned out to be. I struggled with how I wanted the layout to be. So every single corner has like a designated room, like in quotations, because I don't make rooms for really any of it. It's a super open plan. The kitchen doesn't stay there, but I decided to keep that in because like I personally love looking at the progress of like how I build things. I just really like building things. It's kind of fun to see, nothing all of a sudden become like this really interesting home. So I love the process of, doing all this kind of stuff. So I always keep it in just because it's fun. I feel like some people like cut away a lot of it, but I would rather watch like a 30-minute video than like a 5-minute video of, nothing, and all of a sudden it's like a home or something like that. I'm not sure if that's coming across right, but this is the bathroom. Tried to do a 2x2 bathroom, and it actually turned out all right. I did cut away me testing the item because the sink was like getting in the way. My sim couldn't get to the toilet from the sink because the sink was in the way. So I had to like keep pushing the sink into the wall. You'll see later on. Actually, I did cut away that part, so I probably won't see that part, but it took me a lot of like trial and error to figure out a layout that would work. And yeah, so this is when I changed up the kitchen. So I switched the kitchen and the bedroom. Right now, you'll actually see that the door goes kind of into the bedroom section, but I cut it out because it took me quite a while, but I switched the door from that side to the back side. Hopefully that makes sense, but it makes a little bit better sense because the living area should be in the front and then the bedroom should be in the back. And yeah, so I guess I should say that I just switched, or I rotated the lot around. And yeah, so also you did see that I put the roofs like away to the side because the camera in build mode gets a little bit weird when there's roofs there. It keeps like popping up and popping down a lot of the times. So I just removed the roofs or placed them off to the side so they wouldn't get in the way. But in live mode, I don't think it actually gets in the way, so that's really nice. So you can play without having to remove the roofs, which is pretty nice. And yeah, so I really wanted to put a double bed, but I guess it just didn't fit. Not that it didn't fit, because I think you can actually put a double bed, but for such a small home, I guess, you wouldn't have like 2 Sims that live in it. And yeah, I did find out that you could put a desk over the bed, and the bed still works. I don't remember if I included that in the build, but I did test it out with my Sim. And then I just put a little computer there. So it has, I think, essentially everything that your Sim needs to live. So it has a computer, it has a bookshelf, it has a wardrobe too, which you don't need. You don't need a computer either. You can go to like the library or something and use their computer. But it's nice. You have everything that I think your Sim could need and want. Maybe not want, but need to live. And yeah. So the bedroom is open, and yeah, I could have maybe put it in a separate room, but I liked the way that it was open. I think that, for such a small space, you don't really want too many walls, but the bathroom is, a room that you probably want walls because, of privacy and stuff like that. And then I did put shelves attached to like the column and then the wall, and then I put a TV in there. So that's where kind of the TV goes. And yeah, so the bedroom kind of merges into the living room a little bit. And it actually turns out to be quite spacious for how small it is. Actually, 5x5 really isn't that hard to do. I think that maybe if I try like anything smaller, then it'd be getting a little bit more interesting. I think the space that I had the biggest trouble with was the kitchen, because the kitchen requires like a lot of different things. So you have the refrigerator that takes up a tile. You have the stove, and then you also need like a counter to prepare your food, as well as a sink. But in this case, there's no sink in the kitchen, but it's nice because the bathroom is pretty close, so you can just go to the bathroom to use a sink or whatnot. So yeah, if I made the tiny home even smaller, like a 4x4, I think I would have a lot more trouble with trying to fit in a full set kitchen, because you do need all those. You don't need like a the microwave or anything, so that's fine. But there was a perfect little space right next to the refrigerator and the bathroom to put a little bin, so there's a little bin there. And then this is the sink. I don't really like the sink, but this was the smallest sink that I could find. So yeah, I don't really know if it's yeah, I mean, whatever. The sink was the sink. I hope you get smaller sinks. I know it's really cool because I've been to homes that have like teeny tiny sinks before, and they like shove it into the little corner. It's like such a tiny sink. It's so interesting. You know what's cool? I've never been to Japan, but the sinks, it's really cool. I've seen it in some like videos or something, but they have the toilet with a sink like above the toilet, above like the toilet tank. It's so cool. It's like such a space saver. We're probably never gonna get that in The Sims, but that'd be pretty cool if you have like a sink and toilet combined. That's pretty cool. And then, yeah, now getting a little bit more character around the home, just putting in some lights. I have been doing this in tons of my builds recently. I love this idea of like layering these string lighting. Yeah, and then just putting a little bit more plants and paintings around to just give it a little bit more, I don't know, design. And I really like the way that the kitchen turned out. I mean, it's not too crazy, but I love the tiling behind the kitchen. I initially put it just for the bathroom, but then the walls were very white and bland, so I just continued that same tile to the kitchen. And you'll see in screenshots, but it's that tile, I've never used it before for the walls. I think I used it for the flooring before, but the walls, it just looks so cool because it has like a sheen and shine to it, and it's so interesting. I love it. And yeah, so here's the outside. This is just some trial and error of plants. I initially put like a bunch of like plants and stuff around, but then I thought it was becoming a little bit too colorful, so then I think I back away from the colors a little bit. You can see that there's like a lot of colors going on because I started putting like the plant shrubs inside those planter boxes, and then it was like super colorful, and I was like, whoa, you know, I mean, you can try to get these colors in your garden, but it's really hard to, I mean, yeah. And yeah, at this point, I think did I rotate it already? I'm not sure. I think here I rotated it, so it's a little bit of a better layout. So the way the final layout works is that you open the door, and then on your left is the kitchen section, on the right is the living room section, and then in the back is the bathroom as well as the bedroom. So it's a little bit of a better layout because initially how I had it was that the door would go into the bedroom, and that didn't really make sense. And then this is the landscaping. So again, you know, I love how there's no road access, and it's in a very sort of naturey kind of feel. So I put a lot of just plants around. And then this is the back section. So there's kind of like a little tiny back porch. I put plants on top of what is it called? I always call it lattice work, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but yeah, and then I change up the colors. The colors don't go quite that well, but I put plants there so you can't really see it. Yeah, so the white later turns into like a dark brown because I really wanted it to feel a little bit rustic, a little bit modern, kind of like the perfect combination between rustic and modern. And yeah, at the back I just put a very simple sort of table and chairs as well as a tiny little barbecue. So I was playtesting this just because it is a tiny home and you know you have to make sure all the items work. And the only thing that's kind of, actually it's not really that annoying, but every single time your sim will try to make food, they will go out into the back porch and then sit at that table because that's kind of like a proper dining table, because there's no proper dining table inside the home. So your sim will actually try to go outside, and sit on the porch, which is actually kind of cute because, you know, it would be cool if you had like a little porch and then you could just every single morning just go out and have every single meal outside. I mean, the sim that would live here has got to be a very like outdoorsy sim. It's in a very secluded kind of area. It has a very rustic feel, and it's a cute home. I love these little homes that have like the roofs go all the way down to the floor. It's kind of cool. And yeah, so just putting a little bit more plants around, but that is it. So here are the screenshots. I really wish you could change the underside color of the roofs because they don't go. This is my favorite screenshot. It's so cool. You can see like the house, and then in the background it's like a sea, which is super cool. I love the kitchen. Love the tiles. I don't know, I'm pretty... Is it conceited to say I'm pretty impressed by the way that this house turned out? I like it. I feel like I have the same kind of style of home that I always go for, but I don't know, this one's kind of cool. And yeah. The only downside is that from the bed you can actually see the back of the TV, so that's not exactly ideal, but whatever. I love these tiles. Look at the sheen and the shine. It's so great. But this is the floor plan, just if you wanted to see how everything was laid out. But yeah, so this is again one of my favorite screenshots, and yeah, so just getting some of the backyard, and that is really it. So I'm ahead of myself a little bit, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.